The Hawthorne house stood on a windswept cliff, its silhouette stark against the stormy sky. The mansion, with its towering spires and intricate woodwork, seemed almost alive, as if it were a sentinel watching over the tumultuous sea below. Overlooking the stormy North Sea, the house had weathered countless tempests, its walls whispering tales of the past. A grand Victorian manor, full of shadows and secrets, it was a place where history seemed to linger in every corner, and the air was thick with the weight of untold stories. 3 generations of Hawthorns had lived and died within its walls. Each portrait on the wall told a story of ambition, love, and loss. The eyes of the ancestors seemed to follow you, their gazes filled with unspoken words. The latest residents were John and Eleanor, along with their teenage daughter Alice. They had moved in with a mix of excitement and trepidation, aware of the house's storied past but eager to make it their own. They inherited the house and all its contents upon the passing of John's eccentric Aunt Millie. Aunt Millie had been a recluse, her life shrouded in mystery, and her death had only deepened the enigma surrounding her. Amongst the antique furniture and dusty portraits, one item stood out. It was an object that seemed to hold a story of its own, a silent witness to the passage of time. An ornately framed mirror, its surface cloudy with age, stood in the attic room that used to be Aunt Millie's study. The mirror was unlike any other, its frame adorned with intricate carvings that seemed to tell a tale of their own. It was an imposing object, radiating an odd chill that seemed to settle deep in your bones. The mirror's surface was so clouded that it was almost impossible to see your reflection clearly, adding to its eerie presence. Alice, ever the curious one, was drawn to it. She had always been fascinated by the old and the mysterious, and the mirror seemed to call out to her, beckoning her to uncover its secrets. One rainy afternoon, Alice found herself standing before the antique mirror. The rain pattered against the attic window, creating a soothing yet eerie backdrop to her exploration. As she peered into its depths, something strange happened. The room seemed to grow colder, and the air around her felt charged with an electric tension. The reflection wasn't her own. Instead, she saw a scene that was both foreign and familiar, as if she were looking through a window into another time. It was a bustling London street, gaslights flickering, a horse-drawn carriage rattling over cobblestones. The sights and sounds were vivid, almost as if she could step through the mirror and be there. A man in a top hat and a woman in a long dress walked arm in arm, their laughter echoing through the attic room. Alice felt a strange connection to them, as if their lives were somehow intertwined with hers. The mirror had shown her a glimpse of the past, a past that was now reaching out to her, pulling her into its depths. What secrets did it hold, and what did it want from her? The answers lay hidden within the Hawthorne legacy. Alice stumbled back from the mirror, heart pounding. She had never experienced anything like this before. The reflection she saw was not her own, but a bustling London street from a bygone era. The cobblestones, the horse-drawn carriages, and the people dressed in Victorian attire, it was all so vivid, so real. She could almost hear the clatter of hooves and the murmur of voices. It was as if the mirror had become a window to another time. What had she just seen? Was it a trick of the light, or perhaps her imagination playing cruel tricks on her? She had heard of mirrors being portals in fairy tales, but this was real life. She shook her head, trying to make sense of it all. Her mind raced with questions, each more perplexing than the last. She touched the cool glass, half expecting it to be warm from the street scene. Her fingers traced the edges, searching for any hidden mechanisms or clues, but it was just an ordinary mirror, or so it seemed. The glass was cold, lifeless, and unyielding. Had she imagined it? Was her mind playing tricks on her? But it was cold, lifeless. Had she imagined it? The more she thought about it, the more uncertain she became. She replayed the scene in her mind, trying to recall every detail, the street, the people, the sounds. It all felt so real. Yet there was no logical explanation for what she had witnessed. She told her parents about the experience, but they dismissed it as an overactive imagination. They laughed it off, attributing it to stress or perhaps a vivid dream. "Mirrors don't show anything but reflections," her father said with a chuckle. Her mother nodded in agreement, patting her hand reassuringly. But Alice knew what she had seen. It was no dream. They had always thought Aunt Millie a bit mad after all. Aunt Millie, with her wild stories of ghosts and time travel, had always been the eccentric one in the family. She had a collection of oddities and curiosities, each with its own fantastical tale. Alice wondered if the mirror had once belonged to her. Perhaps Aunt Millie had known its secrets. Days turned into weeks, and Alice couldn't shake off the memory of the London street. It haunted her thoughts, creeping into her dreams. She found herself daydreaming about the people she had seen, wondering who they were and what their lives had been like. The mirror had shown her a glimpse of the past, and she was desperate to see more. She found herself drawn back to the attic, to the strange mirror. The attic was a dusty, forgotten place, filled with old furniture and boxes of memories. The mirror stood in a corner, covered with a sheet. She hesitated for a moment, then pulled the sheet away, revealing the glass beneath. It was just as she remembered, cold and lifeless, but she knew it held secrets. Each time she looked into its depths, a new scene unfolded. It was like watching a movie, but far more immersive. She saw different places, different times, each more fascinating than the last. The scenes were so detailed, so rich with life, that she felt as if she could step through the glass and join them. A young boy playing by a babbling brook. His laughter echoed in her ears, and she could almost feel the cool water on her skin. The scene was idyllic, a snapshot of a simpler time. She wondered who the boy was and what had become of him. A group of soldiers bidding farewell before a battle. Their faces were solemn, their eyes filled with determination and fear. She could sense the weight of their emotions, the uncertainty of their fate. It was a poignant moment, frozen in time. A heartbroken woman reading a letter by candlelight. Tears streamed down her face as she clutched the paper to her chest. Alice could feel her sorrow, her sense of loss. It was as if the mirror was showing her the most intimate moments of these strangers' lives. Each scene was vivid, filled with emotion and utterly real. The mirror was a portal to the past, a window into the lives of people long gone. Alice felt a connection to them, a sense of shared humanity. She wanted to know more, to understand their stories. Yet none of them seemed to have any connection to the house or her family. The scenes were random, unconnected, like pieces of a puzzle that didn't quite fit together. She wondered why the mirror showed her these particular moments. Was there a reason, a hidden message? They were glimpses into the lives of strangers, lost moments in time. Each scene was a fragment of a larger story, a story that she was determined to uncover. She felt a sense of responsibility, a duty to remember these forgotten lives. Alice began to keep a journal, recording every detail she witnessed. She wrote down the scenes, the people, the emotions she felt. It became an obsession, a way to make sense of the inexplicable. Her journal was a testament to the mirror's power, a record of its mysteries. She felt like an archivist of forgotten memories, a curator of lost lives. The mirror had given her a unique gift, a window into the past, and she was determined to honor it, to preserve the stories it revealed. Each entry in her journal was a tribute to the people she'd seen, a way to keep their memories alive. The mirror became Alice's obsession. It wasn't just a simple reflection she saw, it was a portal to another world, a world filled with stories and lives that seemed to call out to her. Each time she gazed into the mirror, she felt herself being pulled deeper into its depths, as if the glass itself was whispering secrets of the past. She neglected her studies, her friends, even her beloved books. The things that once brought her joy and fulfillment now seemed trivial compared to the allure of the mirror. Her friends noticed the change, but their attempts to reach out were met with silence or a distracted nod. The once vibrant and engaged Alice was now a shadow of her former self, lost in a world only she could see. The past, with its infinite possibilities and heart-wrenching dramas, was more compelling than the mundane present. She would spend hours poring over old photographs and letters, trying to piece together the lives of those who came before her. Each photograph was a window into a different era, each letter a voice from the past, and Alice felt an inexplicable connection to these long-gone souls. She began to see connections between the scenes, recognizing faces, piecing together stories that spanned decades, even centuries. It was as if the mirror had given her a new lens through which to view the world, one that revealed the intricate tapestry of human history. She would spend hours connecting the dots, creating a web of relationships and events that painted a vivid picture of the past. She saw love blossom and wither, witnessed acts of great courage and unspeakable cruelty. The mirror showed her the full spectrum of human experience, from the highest peaks of joy to the deepest valleys of despair. Each scene was a story unto itself, a fragment of a larger narrative that Alice felt compelled to understand. The mirror was a window into the human experience in all its messy, complicated glory. It revealed the beauty and the tragedy of life, the moments of triumph and the instances of failure. Alice felt as though she was living multiple lives at once, each reflection a different chapter in the grand story of humanity. Alice felt a strange kinship with the strangers in the mirror. Their lives, though separated by time and space, resonated with her own experiences and emotions. She saw herself in their struggles and triumphs, their joys and sorrows. It was as if the mirror had bridged the gap between the past and the present, connecting her to a lineage of souls who had walked the earth before her. Their joys and sorrows resonated with her, their lives a stark reminder that we are all connected by the threads of time. The mirror showed her that despite the passage of years, the essence of human experience remained unchanged. Love, loss, hope, and despair were constants, weaving a tapestry that bound all of humanity together. John and Eleanor grew increasingly concerned about their daughter. They watched as Alice became more withdrawn, her once bright eyes now clouded with a distant look. They tried to understand what was happening, but the more they probed, the more Alice retreated into her world of reflections and memories. She was withdrawn, prone to sudden mood swings and whispered conversations with herself. It was as if she was communicating with the people in the mirror, seeking their guidance and wisdom. Her parents' concern grew with each passing day, as they watched their daughter slip further away from them. They tried to talk to her, to pull her back from the brink of obsession, but Alice pushed them away. She couldn't explain the allure of the mirror, the way it seemed to call to her, promising answers to questions she hadn't even formulated yet. The mirror had become her confidant, her guide, and she couldn't bear to be separated from it. She couldn't explain the allure of the mirror, the way it seemed to call to her, promising answers to questions she hadn't even formulated yet. It was as if the mirror held the key to understanding her place in the world, a world that now seemed infinitely larger and more complex than she had ever imagined. The mirror was not just a reflection of her face, but a reflection of her soul, and Alice was determined to uncover its secrets, no matter the cost. One evening, as Alice stood before the mirror, a shiver ran down her spine. The reflection was no longer a scene from the past. It was the attic room itself, but different, darker, colder, and more sinister. And there, lying on the floor, her face pale and lifeless, was Alice. The scream died in her throat. She stumbled back, knocking over a vase. The crash echoed through the silent house. John and Eleanor rushed to the attic, fear etched on their faces. "Alice, what happened?" Alice pointed a trembling finger at the mirror. It showed me something bad. Her parents exchanged a worried look. This had gone too far. They decided to remove the mirror, to lock it away where it could no longer torment their daughter. But as John approached the mirror, intending to take it off the wall, it flickered once more. This time the reflection was clearer, sharper. It showed a date, etched in elegant script on a tombstone. The date was tomorrow's date, and the name on the tombstone was Alice Hawthorne.